And we're back after a long hiatus. I'm Yoshi. This is my good buddy Ray. We are recording from Ray's new place. It's a fantastic new spot.
Whoop, whoop.
And it is creaky chair free, so hopefully the audio comes in a bit better. So how you been, Ray? What's going on? What you been up to?
Been good, man. Been good. Just living a life. Traveling a lot for work, doing too much down traveling. Been at my new place since May, and I've only been here for maybe a month total with my traveling. So that part kind of sucks, but it does feel good to come home and walk into my new place.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. It's a great little spot. It's in a great area, very close to everything.
Yeah.
So you got access to all the different places. So it's really nice. As far as places go, like, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah.
So, how was Mexico, my friend?
Oh my God. So I've literally been back for 2 weeks, and I think this is the longest I've been in the country this year.
That's right, because you were in Germany before.
Yeah. I was in Germany for 9 weeks, and then was back home for like 3 weeks. And then to Mexico for the last 9 weeks.
Oh, Jesus.
I think Mexico was 6 weeks, but still, it's a couple of weekends back and forth, like, that was it. But for the most part, it was just Mexico. We have clients all over the country. The company that Ray and I work for. We have it's an international company, so there's lots of clients all over the world.
Yeah.
And I was in Germany to get trained on some new equipment, and that was fantastical. Turns out all that equipment that got sent, none of the open issues got addressed.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So everything that we listed that we knew were issues, they just shipped it. They were just like, full send, go.
They'll deal with it when it gets there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this can be manufactured in country. Like, what? Like. This concept of on-site manufacturing. I'm like, I wonder if Apple had that concept.
Here's your cell phone, but wait. We need to work on it.
Yeah, hang on. You don't have a lightning port yet. We gotta install that.
Oh, you wanted to scroll through the internet.
Okay. The screen was not. The touch screen has not been enabled yet.
We need to fix that.
Wait, sorry. We'll do that on site. We'll come to your house and fix it.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So
gosh.
and I think it goes to like the kind of the general consensus as everything is now. Like, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Like everything is where it would be if, like, the dumbest people were now the bosses. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so here's what I think happened, right? Like, COVID, everybody got a new job, myself included. Everybody got new jobs. Everybody got something new. And so the people that were left were the people that either couldn't or wouldn't get a new job. So when you see leadership leave, well, yeah, leadership left, right? But then, so their subordinates or whatever took over, but maybe they weren't really ready for that yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like and we saw a little bit of that, right? I mean, we always hear the adage that people don't leave jobs, they leave managers. But in this situation, I think the managers left.
Oh, yeah.
like the good managers got poached, and the bad managers were left, and that's what you're seeing now. Like, one of the clients down in Mexico, like, they had their entire team switch. Yeah. They just lost everybody.
And what's sad, in order to keep the company running or afloat or profitable, they just start filling bodies.
Yes. They just start throwing bodies at it, and they're like, oh, we had 5 people, now we're going to hire 5 more people, or whatever, right? And it's like, well, are these people qualified? They have a pulse. I was like, what more do you want? They have a pulse. And it's like, well, do we need a pulse? Well, sometimes. It's like, they have a pulse. Do they have any brainwaves? That's the nice to have, not the requirements. Okay, the requirements here and the like the prerequisites on the job description, right? It says you must have a pulse, have a bachelor's degree, whatever pulse, right? And they have that, and then it's like, but do they have any brainwaves? Yeah, that's a nice to have down here. It's secondary.
That's it would be nice to have. It's not necessary.
Exactly.
You know, it's not preferred.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nah, but yeah, it's speaking on that, it's funny. It's interesting, not funny really. It's interesting seeing how things are now. You know, help is no longer good help. Customer service, what's that?
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. You'll go through a drive-through, McDonald's, wherever, and it's just, I know my order's going to be wrong.
Oh yeah.
I don't guess. I don't assume. I know my order's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, what's crazy, thank God for these little kiosks that you can order your own
because I can
thing.
put it directly in.
Yeah, so now if it's messed up,
that's on you. That's on you.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you typed it in wrong.
Yeah.
And it's true though. Like it is better to just go in and not talk to anybody, enter my order directly into their kiosk, and then I'll get whatever I get.
Yeah.
You know, because if I say something, there's always something lost in translation, and that's not like because of translation. That is literally just because people don't care.
Yeah.
Like you know, and
people are they just have these just to collect a paycheck now.
Yeah.
And you know, and I understand.
Yeah.
When you're thinking like fast food and all that, it's not the most glamorous job. It's not going to pay your bills. It's not going to do anything like that. But you know, it's just what happens to work ethic. You know, even if it's a job that you know that you're not going to be there for long, it's a stepping stone. You have to put in that effort, that work, because not only does that help you along as far as, you know, management or whoever is training you sees this, but this gets you seasoned to put in that work and effort regardless of where you go.
It's learning how to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's learning what you can do to work. And it's kind of understanding your own limitations. But I think the biggest issue that we're seeing is that it's the F you pay me. You know, and it's true, right? Like, so the McDonald's near my house, we would go there, you know, every other week or something like that for breakfast. And that is, you know, McDonald's breakfast is my guilty pleasure, right? Like everybody likes, who doesn't like McDonald's breakfast?
Yeah, even Warren Buffett loves McDonald's breakfast.
Right?
Yeah.
Now it was like $25 last week.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but that's not my point. That McDonald's is now paying $21 an hour.
Jesus.
Yeah. Starting.
To flip a burger.
It says starting $21 an hour.
To flip a burger.
Yeah, but you know what they got? You know what they got there now?
What?
They have no more high school students. No more high school students there. You know who's there? The Mexicans.
This guy, you're so stupid.
The Mexicans are back. The older Mexican moms, and you know, they're back.
You know what's funny though?
And my orders are right.
Oh,
everything is right.
You know what's funny? You got it.
It's 100%.
All right, folks, listen. Listen. We love our Hispanic people. Okay, don't even go like that. But the thing is true.
Dude,
so down the street,
jobs done right.
Jobs done right.
Jobs done
down
right.
the street here, there's this older chola lady. I mean, you could tell she's like either was a gangster herself or was married to one. I mean, she just has that whole complete stereotypical chola look. And
lip liner, no lipstick.
Yeah, but you know what? The nicest, sweetest
Mm-hmm.
lady. Every time I see her, oh hey hon, how are you?
Yep.
How are you, Miko?
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I was like, yes, you know, can you take my order, please, all the time? And it's never wrong.
Never wrong.
Never wrong.
Never wrong.
Oh yeah, you
never.
have a very valid point there, my friend.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, they're paying enough now for people to actually survive, right?
Ish. I mean, we are in California.
Well, California. So I just saw some recent numbers where it says like the hourly rate to survive in California. Now, this is averaged out over California. So this is not LA County, San Francisco County, Marin County, none of that. Like, so this is like.
So this includes a place where no one lives.
It includes the BFE and 29 Palms. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yes.
BFE, Buffalo, Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. So it does include that. So take it with what it means. But it says $22 an hour is what you need to survive in California, supposedly.
Well,
however,
the key word is survive.
Yes, not thrive, survive. Okay, so imagine, right? You get 4 single dudes into an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, because whatever, right? It is what it is, right? But if each of them makes $22 an hour, they can probably afford rent.
That's true.
You know, like it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be. You're not gonna be like, I got this awesome spot, like like right here. But 4 guys could afford Ray's place. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's true.
At minimum wage at $22 an hour, right? If minimum wage was $22 an hour, right? Or whatever the number that I read. It was like $22.95 or something like that.
I just know I couldn't.
Oh, fuck no.
As an adult person with responsibilities, I just don't see how anyone in a livable city, and when I say livable city, a place where you don't have to commute too far for work and actually has jobs and things of that nature. I'm not talking about Bakersfield or Barstow or places like that, or somewhere in Hesperia. I'm not talking places like that. Hemet, where you actually have either you're in industrial work or you're commuting somewhere.
Yeah.
So I just don't. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. Now, in the desert, maybe. Yeah, sure.
So I mean, again, it's that work ethic came back, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Right. But what did it take? McDonald's like, well, $12 an hour, $15 an hour, $18 an hour, $16.50.
It's to get adults.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. It's like if you pay minimum wage, you're gonna get kids. And honestly, that's where the minimum wage jobs should be. They should be for kids. They should be for college students. They should be for people who haven't developed a skill yet. Who haven't really developed what they want to do yet. It shows them.
Or retirees. People. No, seriously. People who are retired and it's like, I'm bored. I want to work.
Yeah. Might as well go.
These places are meant for you to live off of.
Yeah.
They're meant to show you how to work.
Yeah.
That's what these places are for. Yeah. I mean, I've been there before where I lost my job years ago, and I worked at a McDonald's to make the ends meet. Now, did the ends really meet?
Not really.
However, at that time, I was with someone that helped-ish.
Yeah.
So that, we were able to make it work until I got an actual job. And I actually stayed at that place for a little bit to catch up so I can have that extra income.
Yep.
But it's all about work and what you're willing to put into and what you're willing to learn. And that's another problem we have here is that you have a lot of people that, well, it's been like this for years. My father was doing this, my great-grandfather, my grandfather is like, but things have changed since then. Yeah, exactly. I mean, things have changed in just the last 3 years drastically.
I would say within the last year or two. Yeah. With interest rates hitting, that was me. Oh. Whatever, I'll edit this out.
But with interest rates.
Yeah, so.
Because even think about this. Yeah. Pre-COVID, if I wanted to buy a house, interest rates were between 2.5% and 3%. So,
COVID rates dropped to 2.5%.
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, it was like 4.
It was like 4. It was 3.5 to 4. Yeah.
It was like almost 5 at some points, right?
So just think about this. Was this 3 years ago? You were able to get I'm going to throw this number out here so it can be relatable to others, because if I throw out California numbers, people will go crazy. So let's just say you have a $340,000 home that you're willing to purchase, and you're able to get, during that time frame, 2.5 to 3% interest rate. That's going to bring you right under $2,000 a month. So I think it's around like $1,970, $1,950 a month. That same house now with today's interest rates was around 7%.
Yeah, I think so.
You're looking at $3,500 a month for the same house.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It makes sense, right? Because interest is one of those things that's it compounds, right? It is exponentially more expensive to borrow money, right? As every interest percentage point that goes up, it's thousands upon thousands of dollars more for that, to borrow that money, right? It is insane. So and you know what sucks, and this is what really sucks, and this is why you look at credit card interest rates, right? And it's 15%, 20%. Some people 29%. I'm like, hold up. Who's making 29%? That's $30 for every $100 you borrow. Can you imagine? Hold up. hold up, that's like loan shark stuff.
No, it definitely.
You know
is.
what I mean? Like that's like okay, hold on, I'm gonna borrow $100 from you, all right, and then I'm gonna owe you $130 next week, or well, I guess next year technically, or it's APR. So, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, it's and that's a whole nother conversation actually with credit card and credit card debt and how people use it and all. But no, it's just amazing at how predatory some of these places can be. And and I understand the government is trying to do these interest rate raises to help fight inflation and things of that nature. And I'm not an expert on it, so I don't know all of the details that wraps around it.
I'll tell you.
Oh, let's hear it.
Well, so I mean, honestly, when the Fed, which is not federal at all, but whatever, when the Fed raises interest rates, so it's going to cost more to borrow money.
Correct.
Right. So stop borrowing money. Start saving your money. Just like
that's the point.
I mean that. So like realistically, so here's the thing, right? Like what's a CD right now?
Oh, it's high right now.
Can you look up the most recent CD, or like what's a 5-year CD, or let's do a 1-year CD. Sorry, I know it's dead air. I'll edit this out. I say a lot. I say I'm gonna edit a lot. I'm not gonna edit shit.
So right now I'm looking at bank rate right now.
Okay.
We're looking at
what's a 5-year CD?
4% APY.
All right. So hold up. So interest rates are 7%, right?
Mm-hmm.
CDs are 4%.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like so what? Like so the bank still thinks they should earn 3%.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that same, and that's bank rate, so it's kind of a kind of an aggregate data, right?
Yeah,
it's not
BMO is 5.4.
Okay.
Lending Club's 5.5. Popular Bank is 5.5. And most of these that are going to give you the best rates are going to be
like the internet banks.
The internet banks anyway, because
they have no overhead. They don't have the
things
overhead.
Of that nature.
So.
But no, you have a good point. So instead of paying 7% on a loan, or even car loans being up high, like the average new car loan is 7%.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Oh, it was more than that. Like, so I think I went to the dealerships.
But yours is because you were looking at new cars or used?
Well, so I was
just like 11 right now.
I was just trying to buy my lease out.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even looking at cars. Like I was just like, what's my rate to buy my lease out? And they were like 16%.
Oh my god.
I'm like, well, okay, I know my credit isn't like perfect, but it ain't shit. Like what the hell? Like, and they were like, no, that's a good rate. I'm like, you trying to tell me that's a good rate? I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, 16%. I'm like, I'd be better off just putting on my credit card.
Right.
I'm like,
it'd be better off putting your credit card than open another credit card and do a transfer that has 0%.
0%, right? Exactly. Right? I'm like, what? What's going on? Then I might pay a 3% fee, but that's 3%.
That's 3%.
Like,
not 16. Good God.
Yeah. So they were trying to be like 16%, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, okay. And then so I negotiated down. I'm like, well, but if with this rate, I'm not going to be able to get like the warranty. I dangled the warranty. I was going to buy the warranty from them, and they were like, oh, you're going to buy the warranty? And they were like, okay, let me see what we can do. They're like, we bought down some points for you. I'm like, we'll get you to 12%. And I'm like, yeah, I'm walking out of here. Like, I'll figure this out. And they're like, well, how are you gonna finance the car? I'm like, I'm gonna go to Bank of Daddy and go get my. I'm like, oh, so is he gonna come here and finance? I'm like, no. It's like, what part of get cash from my father don't you understand? And I'm gonna owe him money, which well, that sucks. Believe me, that's way worse than owing a bank 16%. Believe me.
Like every 2 weeks, you don't make sure you pay it in the month.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Make sure you pay it in the month.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the 26th. Make sure you pay it in.
Yeah. It's like, so when do you pay the bill? Like, Dad, like we said, I'm gonna pay it on the date we said, whatever it was. Do you really think you can afford to pay me when you go and buy this little toys that you have? Like, Dad, I'm 40 years old. Like, what are you talking? What toy? Like, what toys do you think I'm talking about? Well, I see you have this new thing on your truck. Like, yeah, it's called a tonneau cover. I see. So this is mine? I'm like, what? He's like, well, if I have to repo your truck, like, is it mine? Like, well, no, because I'm gonna pay the bill. Have I missed a payment? But you might. I'm like, well, yeah, but you might drop dead too. Let's see what happens first.
Oh my God, man.
It's not that bad, but still, it's like whatever. Don't get me wrong, my dad is charging me interest.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, but sure. It's.
But it's still cheaper than 16%.
Oh God, yeah, I think we agreed. He wanted market rate for 7%, and I was like, "You're my dad," and he's like, "Okay, 6.9."
For sure.
I was like, thanks for the family discount.
For sure, man. So basically, all this is being said during this time that we're going through this stuff. If you don't need to buy a car, if you can hold off on buying a house or anything of that nature, instead put that money you're going to put in there and put it into a CD or something that gives you a nice high yield right now, especially now where you can lock in these rates.
Oh, but see, that was also my point. All right, so the problem is it's still not like 5% on a CD
really good though.
Well, it's good, but
on
it ain't.
CD.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not better than the borrowing portion.
No, it's not.
You see what I'm saying? Like if you really wanted to stop inflation, and this because remember back in the 80s, CDs got to 20%.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Google it.
Jeez.
I swear to God, like if you look up 1980. Savings account interest rates. It was insane. We had runaway inflation at that point, and interest rates had to get to 20% to get people to stop buying shit.
Where'd that go? So it says during the 80s it climbed as high. Saving rates climbed as high as 8%.
8%, okay, but that was also
that's still a lot, though.
Right?
Jeez,
yeah. That was savings though. Okay, we're at 3% off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, let's look at it this way too. How much are CDs normally? CDs are really
1.9.
Thank you.
2%.
You know,
max.
so it's like I'd rather. I know it's a bit because regardless of how CDs are, they'll never match inflation.
That's true.
Interest. It never will.
No.
So it's better to have it this if you can lock it
in for 5%, 6% almost. That's
the way to go.
That's a much better way to spend your money.
Yeah, I mean, because that's half of what you would make on average in the stock market during a good market.
Oh yeah,
because stock market average about 10%,
10 to 12. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you can get a CD,
yeah,
that is less volatile to average 5, I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, that's guaranteed, right? There's no market fluctuations in a CD. That is what they're guaranteeing you.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it's part of that whole annuity structure thing that I was talking about. But yeah, I mean, right now the best way to combat inflation is to just stop buying shit.
Yeah, stop buying. Hold on to your money.
But it's fucked up because consumer economy is what our economy is based off of.
Exactly.
Right? So we got it the U.S. economy is a consumer economy, service and consumer economy. So it is. So here's what you should do.
Well, real quick before you go into that next part, but if you, we've had a very recent demonstration of how that works. Think how everything was in COVID during COVID, right? People weren't spending money. People were unsure. Everything was dropping. Interest rates were dropping.
Oh, yeah.
Prices were dropping. You can get cars for super cheap.
Well, that's when I got my truck.
Yeah.
I was like, I got my truck for a 3-year lease in 2020, July 2020, and it was $289 a month for a lease with $3,000 down or something like that. I was like, You try to get that today.
Oh, you can't.
You can't. Like,
well, not on a nice truck like yours.
No.
You'll
Well,
have to get like a.
I tried to get the exact same truck. I tried to get the 4x4 version,
no
right?
way.
And it was like, oh yeah, we can get it. We can get you locked in, no problem. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm thinking like, all right, 320, 320, sure, why not? Release it. 489.
Hell no.
489. I'm like, and they're like, yeah, that's with $5,000 down. And I'm like, for a lease? A lease.
Yeah.
Like you understand that I don't own this. Like, so you just want me to just take all, like, there's no residual value in this truck is what you're saying.
No.
Like, I'm just paying this whole truck off in 3 years is what you're saying. And they're like, well, no, I mean, you're not paying the whole thing off because it's been jacked up by $20,000.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, no, we still got to make ours. Like, ooh. So, yeah, oh my God. So, anyway, so where were we going with that?
I don't know. I interrupt you.
That's okay. That's all right. Happens all the time. Fucking asshole. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, basically, if you don't have to buy anything. So my sister was trying to buy a truck or buy a car recently, and we were looking at the numbers, and it was just like, this is stupid. Like, I think she was looking at like a CRV or something like that, and those are great little cars, but they were just trying to charge like, I think they were trying to pay or have her pay like, almost 30, like 28. Like for a
CRV?
For a used CRV. Like a used CRV has like 32,000 miles on it.
Wow.
It was a 2017.
A 2017?
Yeah. And it was low miles. Yeah. But they wanted like $30,000 on
6
it.
years
Yeah.
old.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
And then literally when I looked up I literally just did a Google search for the same year, or I just put CRV between like 20. I think you just put CRV, and they were just like, oh, you can get you can pay like $12,000 for a 2012 with like less miles, like 22,000 miles. I'm like, who buys these CRVs and just never drives them? But I digress, right? Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, that's just the numbers, right? And I'm like, oh, is it branded title, salvage title? Like, what's going on? No, just a little old lady, one owner, just drove it around, didn't do much. They wanted 20. Oh no, they wanted like 18
for 2012.
For 2012. But I guess my point is, like, just look at the variance in that. And it was like from one dealership to the next dealership. It was like less miles. It was just a better deal all the way around.
Right.
But because the used car market was just so volatile that it's like what they thought was a good deal, like they were just, I guess this is the price for this. I'm like, no, like literally just shop around.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, so right now it's consumer market in the used car market. New car market is slower to respond because they think again, you have these 3 years, like so you sold cars before, right? How long does an average sales guy last in a used car?
On average?
Yeah.
In a used car?
Yeah. Or just
like a year.
Or just like in car sales.
Probably like a year or two.
A year,
yeah,
right? What about a new car?
easily.
Is it different?
Probably
the same.
Probably maybe like 6 months more.
Okay. So between a year and 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ton of turnover in sales, right?
Oh, definitely.
Because people can't cut it, or they can cut it, or if they can cut it, they're moving on to bigger.
Correct.
They're not selling Hondas for 20 years.
Right.
But they'll move to Maserati,
all that stuff.
They'll get to the higher end because that's where the money is.
Or they'll move to a dealership
higher
where
volume.
you can get paid on both the front end and back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some places only do the front end.
Front end, yeah.
Especially sales. If you're the finance guy, it's a different story.
Right.
Finance guy will be there for 30 years.
Yeah.
He'll be there for 30
but
years.
They get a lot of money.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
those
for
guys,
sure.
Those guys are.
And just for people to understand what I mean by front end and back end, you have when you buy a car from a salesperson, they will get a percentage of the total price of the vehicle that was purchased minus taxes and fees. But if they also get back end pay, which is the bread and butter, it's the financing, the warranties and all that stuff they get paid on as well.
And also interest rate.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I said financing.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. But that's why when I was at the dealership, they were like, not the dealership.
Yep.
But when they were like, 16%, like they thought that's a good number. I'm like, no, it's not. That's a good number for you.
Yeah, from your pocket.
Yeah, because
sure.
I promise you that bank was probably 14%, and they were getting that 2%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something
for
something
sure.
like that, right?
For
So
sure. And that's why they were able to buy it
down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or might have even been more. You know, we don't know, but
And just be honest with you guys. In large purchases, when it comes to like a home or a car, the only people that really are able to truly buy down an interest would be builders of new homes, because they get certain deals with banks that they finance all this stuff through, and those people actually do buy down the rate. So you'll see like a lot of new homes going up, and you know it's 7%. It's like 7% right now for a home, but they'll buy it down to 5%.
you can also buy down when you're buying a home directly. So
But it's easier for new
it's
homes
not
because you don't have to go and negotiate yourself. The buyer already, the sellers have already negotiated for you as far as the builders. Because the builders got to get they got to get they want to get it moving. Oh, for sure.
They got to get their money back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It was funny because like was the end of last year, there was the builders were talking about like, oh, we got to sell these homes at 600. If I don't sell them for 600, I'm losing money. And I was like, bitch, how you what the fuck's wrong with you? Where are you buying wood from? You buying wood from fucking like Narnia or what the fuck? Like the way you're building this shit, like 600, like you're losing money on 600, like get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And it is what you say, like because they're getting financed or they're getting whatever, right? To get all that stuff.
But even then, honestly, where all the money in California, at least,
is labor.
No, land.
Oh yeah,
land is where the bulk of the cost is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why you see other places, where it's not as much people, like in the Midwest and things like that, all congregate in one area. Those homes are much cheaper because the land is cheaper.
That's a good point.
Building the home, unless you're building like a fully custom home or semi-custom home, is not as expensive as what you look at that.
That's
price.
A good point, right? Because he might have gotten hosed on the land value.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
A good point. Because it's like, dude, that's just wood and plywood. Yeah. Or let's put a wooden freaking drywall, right? Yeah. Like you got some like gold plated fiberglass batting in there. Like what's going on, man? Like
yeah. So that is really reserved for like a custom home. Like now, so if you see a home on the same block, which you won't see this, but you see the home same block, one is 500,000, one is $1 million. The difference is at that point would be the materials used.
Yeah.
Because the land cost would be the same.
Well, not necessarily, because it depends on the time.
Well, in square footage, but I mean, I'm looking at time, same square footage.
Same square footage. Yeah.
One home is just more expensive than the other. Typically, that's just all the
accoutrement.
right. Because they're just using higher quality materials to build it, because they're building a more custom home designed for people willing to spend that type of money.
Right, exactly. So you got it was just interesting because I was just looking up homes out in Vegas, and just to see what the market was like, and it was like there's a house for rent for $1,800.
Yes.
Okay. I was like 4 bedroom.
Which is expensive for Vegas.
Yeah, it is. $1,800. Like, oh, it looks okay. And then literally half a block away, it was a house for rent for $12,000 a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, do they know the neighborhoods they're in? Like, the house that was $1,800 was not nice.
Yeah, it's probably one of those Toll Brother custom homes.
I don't know, man. Like, it was just like, are you sure? And when you looked at it on the picture, it was like, that's a nice house. I can see spending $12,000 a month. I don't know that I want to live next door to the $1,800 a month guy. though. Like now Vegas is a special animal, right? Like it's like
true.
because it got built out in sections. Mm-hmm. So it got built out. Then you can kind of, it's almost like reading the rock record. You can see the strata of where like how many houses they built in 1 year, and then they like you see 2008 hit and everything just stopped. And then all of a sudden the materials is different, right? Yeah. Like
absolutely. No, you definitely notice that in Vegas.
Oh.
But one thing I could say about Vegas, and one thing that I'm not gonna say I regret, I just wish I would have jumped on, is
strip clubs.
Especially with that stadium being around.
I know, right?
But
that's NFL money, bro.
It's honestly though, is getting a good amount of property near that stadium.
Oh yeah.
Man, missed out on a big one there.
Yeah.
Man, that was a prime opportunity to really make
that
some money
place
in
was
Vegas.
a shithole.
Yeah.
Like everything, like, so I think it was, because where they build the stadium, it's like, it's right off of Tropicana.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you guys been to Vegas at all, there's a 15 in Tropicana. That's kind of like it's it's not the center of the strip, not officially. It's like the southern end of the strip.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from LA, if you're coming from Southern California and you go head north on the 15, that is like the first exit that's like, aha, we're in Vegas. Like everything else south of that is like not really Vegas. It's like, oh, I got the South Point and I got this other one, the M, I think it is, and you got State Line, you got a bunch of other casinos. But if you want to like hit the strip, quote unquote strip, the strip starts going north at the Tropicana Boulevard, and then you go north. You can go south a little bit. There's a few more, like Excalibur. Oh my god, I can't believe that place is still open. The Luxor's interesting.
Luxor's been there for a while.
It's been there for a minute. I remember when they built that because I'm old as fuck.
Isn't Luxor like one of the old mob ones that are still left, or all of those been shut down?
I think the Stardust was the last one.
The Stardust.
I think the Stardust was the last mob casino. Everything else is corporate now. Stardust or Sands?
No,
I think Stardust. I think Stardust was still mobbed up.
But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, like so Vegas is so, but so what I'm saying is that intersection or that overpass, whatever, was the biggest piece of shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go east towards the Strip. Mm-hmm. On Tropicana, mm-hmm. It was nicer, right? There's the New York, there's the MGM, it's a strip, right? Everything was nicer.
Yeah.
But if you went west over the freeway, it was just like bums and trash and like abandoned buildings and like I think there was like on the right side or on the north side of the street was like you could see like a Binion's and like some Western themed motel and like some piece of shit casino, and then there was like 3 Chevrons in a row on the southern side for some reason, and it was like, wait, what? There's a Chevron, there's a Rebels Chevron, there's another Chevron. I'm like, I think they want you to buy Chevron gas. I think that's what they want.
I think that's what it's for.
And there was a Wendy's, and then there was a bunch of shitty like timeshare-esque kind of like places right behind there.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. But like, anyway, so they were there, and they were all just shit. Like they were all just crap. There was like a Motel 6, like another half block south. Anyway, so they decided to build a giant stadium over there, and now all that stuff is worth millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, man, that is the place to have done it, man. Like even if you were to like buy and hold or whatever, that would have been a great area to do that at for sure.
Yeah. And obviously hindsight's 20/20, right?
No,
like,
of course.
I mean, obviously, like everybody in 2008 should have bought property, right? Everybody in 2008, what? You were 6 years old? No, buy property. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Your credit's good.
Well, yeah. You got golden credit.
Yeah, man. Get your FHL loan easily, man.
Yeah, so I mean,
and then by the time you turn 16, 18, you can turn it conventional.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you got lots of and that's why it's like right now. So kind of another side of the coin of saving and investing and kind of combating high interest rates. People like to buy gold.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of an interesting concept, right? Now, I don't know if I can impart this concept well. Gold isn't really an investment per se. What it is, or gold or silver, any precious metals, any intrinsic value investment is it's like freezing your money. Does that make sense?
Why is that?
Okay, so if you think of it like an investment, so as we can see from inflation today, we can see that the most valuable dollar you have is, well, let me ask you this, Ray. What's the most valuable dollar you have?
The most valuable dollar I have is any dollar that makes me money.
That's a good point. But that's not where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So, let me ask you it this way. Which dollar has more value? Today's dollar or tomorrow's dollar?
Currently today's dollar.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is correct. And that is by design, because the Fed always wants inflation. Not runaway inflation, not walking inflation.
Controlled inflation.
4%, 2%, 3%, 6%, whatever it is. Okay, they want that inflation. Okay, because in a consumerist economy, what do you need to do?
Gotta buy.
You got to get people to buy shit now, not tomorrow, not 3 years from now, not when they've saved up enough. Buy it now. Okay, that's how you drive an economy. All right, so we've changed from a savings economy to a purchase spending economy, right? So how this is where it kind of comes in, right? So you buy gold, you buy silver, you buy platinum, you buy whatever, precious metals. Don't buy diamonds. Those are not precious.
No.
So you do any of that, and what does that do to your money? So I buy 1 ounce of gold for $1,000 right now. God, I wish it was $1,000 an ounce, but whatever. So I buy 1 ounce of gold for $1,000. 5 years from now, an ounce of gold is worth $1,600. Okay. What did I do with my money?
You grew it.
Did I?
Yeah, because that same 1,000 is 1,600 now.
No. I mean, well, yes, but I just froze my asset. It's not liquid anymore. It's just a punk of gold.
Right.
It's just frozen. Now, if it goes up, 2,000, 3,000, whatever. The point is, at that point, when you cash it out, you're now back in the inflation game. I have guarded myself against inflation because that gold will always be worth 1 gold. 1 ounce of gold will always be worth 1 ounce of gold, regardless of what that translates into currency, whatever. Euros, dollars, pesos, whatever. It's always going to be the same. So depending on how that economy is, that gold will get you however much of that currency, right? So buying gold takes your currency, takes your money out of the economy. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's now a tangible asset.
Yeah.
Like it will be whatever it will be, right? You can always melt it down and make circuit boards out of it if you want. That's true. Right? So and that's where resources come in.
And end up selling it for way more than
that's what I was gonna say. Like you might be able to sell it a lot more than $1,600 an ounce.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like
for sure.
So and that's why it's a resource. That's why it's so valuable. That it always will have value, right? So like people say like, well, how do we combat? It's like, well, yeah, you can buy gold. Runaway economy. Like, yeah, you buy gold. You've now effectively turned your currency into a tangible asset that will have intrinsic value forever. That's why you've frozen your money.
I mean, then would you say the same thing in investing in a home then?
No, home is worthless. The land is worth.
No, well, I mean, but in order to buy a home, you have to have the land, right?
Not necessarily.
But, you can always buy land. That's true.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, let's look at it.
So yeah, but yes, basically, to answer your question, yes, but you can take gold wherever you want. You can't take your land with you.
This is true.
Right. So push comes to shove, you might have to bury some gold somewhere, but you can take it with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Well, how you got? I own lot 84 on this. Hang on, I'm gonna go dig this up. Where you going?
Dig up this whole lot.
Because ultimately, right? Like, let's think about this. Right? Why is gold better than land? All right. So you sell me some, or I sell you some land. All right. What do you have that says it's your land?
A title, a deed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Paper.
I got a match. Okay. Now I sell you some gold.
Yeah.
All right. Give me your gold. Well, what you have to show for? How do I know it's your gold?
It's in my possession.
Oh, all right. I want to destroy it. I got a match.
You need a furnace.
Well, but even then, you smelt it. You melt it down. What is
still
it?
Worth
still gold.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And not to say that land isn't valuable. Land is absolutely valuable. Okay. Yeah. And if you own a shitload of land, that's fantastic.
Right.
But at some point, push comes to shove, and unfortunately, we have to start talking about this. Is that somebody can go up to you, hold a gun to your head, and say, "Give me your deed, sign it over to me, or I end you."
But can't just do the same thing with gold, though, right?
Of course, but it's gonna be harder to find.
That's true.
Right?
Because you can put it in place.
You can put it wherever you want. You can bury it on that land you own.
That's true.
Or
you can even put it in safety deposit boxes. You can do a lot of. No, you got a good point there.
Yeah. Hang on, I gotta pause this real quick.
Didn't really have a chance to do an outro on that last episode, so here's the outro. Thank you for listening. We are getting back into it little by little. We're trying new formats, and thank you so much for continuing to listen to our episodes. everything that you never knew you needed to know. So, yeah, we'll drop another episode very soon.